Hello, Roll Mithril here once again, getting back to Magmammal 2, and it's time for Judge Commentary on 59th place, BBLIR's Forgotten Fortress, Pyro's least favorite, and we're gonna start with SnowRun Pyro. Oh wow, wow. This is pretty awful. There's one absolutely massive flaw in this level in that it has literally no idea what it's doing. Virtually every gimmick in the engine appears at some point, or at least it feels like it, and the level is so insanely unfocused that I don't even know what to think of it besides it's really messy. None of the gimmicks are ever focused on or used well, and they constantly just fly in and out of existence. Nonsensical design is everywhere, like an excruciatingly long auto-scroll with a black background and almost no enemies, but plenty of Nightman bouncers. A random section where there's a block train that seems to want to crush you, but you can blow past it before it gets close to you, and asinine amounts of split paths. The latter is what utterly kills the level for me. Everything sprawl everywhere in every direction you can think of, and it makes it completely impossible to have a sense of where you are at all. And this is amplified by the utter lack of focus. It took me over an hour to slog through the entire thing, and get the energy element and all 4 noble nickels, and it was an incredibly unpleasant and absolutely boring experience. And on top of that, there's a bajillion weird secrets too, like some room with a ton of NPCs, and a bonus fight with a strangely drawn Crashman, with actually a kind of creative arena, but not really. This level is just a giant mess, and I did not enjoy it in the slightest. Jupy Hornet. I really enjoyed the nice platforming challenges this level provided. There were so many different gimmicks used in this stage, and they were all used so well. The best part for me was the force beam section, because there were clear outlines showing where the force beams were. This is how you make a challenging level without having it be exceedingly difficult. My main issue was that the level lagged. A lot. It wasn't game-breaking, but it did make some parts of the stage pretty annoying. Also, the Crashman fight. What even was that? Angel. I tried my best to like this level, but unfortunately the heavy lag I had when playing through it made this pretty much impossible. Couple that with the maze-like structure of the level, and playing it felt more like a chore than a fun experience, which is a shame. This level has ideas that it proposes, and it has a lot to offer, maybe even to the point where it becomes too much. The confusing layout of the level made me lose all sense of direction, and even after several playthroughs, I wasn't able to build a cognitive map of the level. When I got to the ending room the first time, I picked up the key and completely missed the exit. Heading back to the door, I thought the level only just now got started, and while somewhat scared, I was also excited to look through the level in order to find Crashman, who I assumed would hold the energy element. Sadly, Crashman's room is a mess, and getting to him didn't feel very rewarding. I eventually found the energy element on my third visit to the end room. On a more general note, the level doesn't do a very good job at ramping up its difficulty or maintaining any kind of consistency. This level has everything, but doesn't really play around with anything, which is a shame. Gariri. This is a complicated one to review. Generally, it's good. The level design is mostly solid, and it's pretty fun to play through the first time. However, this level splits into so many paths, it becomes hard to even replay the stage without feeling annoyed at repeating the same section again. This is especially a problem if you're trying to get the noble nickels, which are scattered around the whole level, so getting them is a pain. Otherwise, it's a good stage. Ideas are interesting, and the level's graphics and music are good. Ace Spark. There comes a point where you need to stop. This was a slog. I had so little fun playing this stage I wanted to quit partway through. So I'm going to get the positive out of the way first. Your original assets are well drawn, although the color scheme is absolutely garish, and your opening area was great. Good conveyance, good design, really well thought out. And then I got to the second area, and the third, and the fourth, and then why? I know there's a lot in the dev kit, but you didn't need to use every single sodding gimmick. Later on in the stage, you seem to stop thinking and did the bare minimum required to implement its segment. In all fairness, there's nothing wrong with any of these rooms aside from how easy they are. This is actually to your stage's benefit, believe me. And a lot of these areas introduce themselves well. Pick a gimmick, pick a second gimmick, maybe a third, and stick to them. Start doing clever stuff with them, and maybe this would work. Everything in the dev kit, though? Blech. You have the makings of a good designer, just scale back next time. This wasn't fun. Finally, poor Crashman. I'm not sure what good making him so gangly was, but it didn't help matters. So yeah, this stage, it's very much a mixed bag. I agree with some of the judges. It's really hard to judge this one, because overall, the design is pretty decent. Something Jupy Hornet brought up that I very much agree with. I like the force beam segment, which is a rarity for me. I normally hate force beams with a passion, but the fact that you had a very clear indicator of where they were coming from and plenty of time to react to them, it actually felt fair. They weren't just coming out of something with no indication of where they were going to be coming from like you had with Yggdrasil, which, even there, it's still learnable, but just the way some of them came out without any warning of where they were coming from and without giving you a lot of time to react to them, you didn't have that here. The main problem for me is just how sprawling this level is. It is very difficult to find your way around. But yeah, overall, most of the rooms really aren't that bad. The one room I did refer to as the gimmick platform warehouse, though, yeah, that felt a little needlessly long and empty. I feel like that was kind of the biggest offender of, let's see what all is in the toolkit and use everything. But overall, most of the rooms, they actually felt pretty good. But yeah, this being scaled back a bit probably would have helped it. Hunting for the noble nickels, honestly, I didn't find it that bad, but I can see where people would. Because, yeah, they are kind of all over the place, and some of the secrets do feel kind of god dang it. I also second what the heck was with the Crashman fight. The arena did actually make him a bit more challenging, not much more. But I do have to wonder, was that sprite original, or did that come from somewhere? It was a pretty odd sprite, but a decent and interesting fight, actually. So, that's about it. One other thing I am going to say here, the weird beep at the end of the doorman fight, I finally noticed what it was while reviewing the footage. It was that another energy element appears as you're leaving the stage. It just appears in that same doorway. It's like it's programmed to, okay, something needs to be here, and it's not for some reason, that reason being you just collected it, and so it just replaces the energy element, and that's what the little beep at the end was. So, at least figured that one out. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and I shall see you again next time. Until then, fare thee well.